Hey everybody, DeLongshot Signatures here. This is episode 185 of my TTM returns. We are starting off this week with 15 successes for 31 autographs. We got some Hall of Famers, we got some former pro players, and we got one that is a really timely success, and you'll see that here in a moment. But I do have one failure to show. This is a return to sender from Gene Roebuck. He is a former college basketball coach for the University of North Dakota. Don't remember if he coached the men's or the women's team, but that looks to not be a good address. I'll see if I can find another one, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I already had a hard enough time trying to find him this time. But we'll get started with some returns here. First one is a 2 of 2 in 138 days from former MLB second baseman / utility player. This is Mark McLemore on a 92 Leaf in a 92 Fleer Ultra. Sharpie dying a bit there, but thankfully, at least the 92 Fleer Ultra is a very light background card, so you can still see it pretty well. And he's wearing a white uniform in the 92 Leaf, so you can at least see that part pretty easily. But he spent 19 seasons in Major League Baseball. Wasn't like a everyday player, but as a utility player, he played a bunch of different positions defensively, and he was pretty good with the bat too. He is now an analyst for Texas Rangers games with Bally Sports. I don't remember what region it is, but he's been with them for he's been an analyst at least for the team for a long time. Then we have a college baseball coach return. This is a 2 of 2 success in 10 days. Coming back from St. John's, baseball coach Mike Hampton. He is not the same Mike Hampton that was a pitcher who played in the World Series. This is a different Mike Hampton. He is entering his 4th season as the head coach for St. John's. They are Division I. But he was drafted in the 4th round of the 1994 MLB draft, but had to retire from playing due to injuries just 3 years later. So he never made it to the majors, but now he is trying to do his part to help others live their dream of playing Major League Baseball or just college baseball. Some people don't have aspirations for the major leagues. This one is really awesome timing for it coming back, especially with the note that he included. So I don't have when I sent this out recorded. This, I think, was during a time where I wasn't recording anything I was sending out or getting back sometime last year in the middle of the year. I started back up in August, so my guess is that this was sent sometime out between April and July. So over a year, but not exactly sure how long, from NASCAR crew chief Phil Surgeon. Now, not everyone is super familiar with crew chiefs, but he is the current crew chief for Ross Chastain. And the reason why I say this is a super timely return is because of the note that he included on the back of my letter of request. But thanks for the note. I'm glad you enjoy watching. I'm writing you the Wednesday before Martinsville in the round of 8. We are looking for a great weekend to transfer to Phoenix. I've got a ton of confidence Ross and our team have the ability to get it done. If you guys have not watched the last lap video for Martinsville, you need to before continuing with this video, because Chastain was a few points below the cutoff line for making it into the round of 4, and he essentially just needed to pass Denny Hamlin, who was like 5 or 6 spots ahead of him. And in one lap at Martinsville, that seems to be impossible to do. Except if any of you have ever played any of the old NASCAR games, especially the EA ones around like 2005, you know that if you just slam your car into the wall and drive around the corner, the last corner of Martinsville, you can get around the track pretty fast. But that's a video game move, and Ross Chastain decided to try that in real life. He moved himself up from like 10th to 5th, I think, and just at the last second passed Denny Hamlin to knock him out of the playoffs and get him and his team into the championship race. It was criticized by some, but enjoyed by many. The move was, at least. I think that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Someone taking a video game move and putting it in real life, and just a really, really gutsy decision, because you don't know how that's actually going to work in real life, especially with how the cars have been handling different, and you could puncture a tire and then just stop moving altogether. But very, very awesome move that he did there. It's probably one of the best moments of the NASCAR season so far. So again, if you have not watched the final lap of the Martinsville race, do so. You're doing yourself a favor by doing that. But very, very timely return on that. I hadn't gotten Phil Surgeon before. He's got his first 2 wins of his career this season with Ross. They've been doing really, really well. Now we'll move on to some college basketball coaches. First one here is a 3 of 2 success from men's basketball coach for Lipscomb, Lenny Acuff, not sure exactly how it's pronounced. But he signed both of these in 41 days, or all 3 of these in 41 days, and then he included a short note apologizing for how long it took. It really did not take that long. Am I going to count that as an autograph? No, he printed his name, so that's a 2 of 2. I'm going to have to fix that. But 41 days is not a bad return time at all, so don't worry about it. Next, we have a 2 of 2 success in 11 days from longtime women's basketball coach for Capital. I think they're Division III. This is Dixie Jeffers. They're embracing one of her players. Here she is being honored during a halftime ceremony. But she finished her career with 744 wins and was a 2-time Division III champion with Capital sometime in the 90s. Then we have a 2 of 2 success in 11 days from current women's basketball coach for Hope. I think it's Hope College. They are Division III. These are coming back from Brian Morehouse. This guy has had one of the most tremendous careers so far in college basketball. He is the fastest coach to 600 wins. He did so in just 690 games. He's a 2-time Division III champion, and he could likely be a 4-time Division III champion if it wasn't for COVID. Of course, the tournaments were shut down in March of 2020, so they were in the middle of their tournament, but they were undefeated so far that season. They were the number 1 ranked team in the nation. And then the next year, they went undefeated again, but there weren't enough teams to hold a tournament. Just a bunch of teams opting out due to COVID concerns. And they finished the season, of course, like I said, undefeated and ranked number 1 again. And then this past year, they almost went undefeated. They only lost 1 game, but they would go on to win the Division III championship. So theoretically, if you put it together, he potentially could be a 4-time Division III champion. But very, very accomplished so far, and still looking to add his name to the record books. Then we got a 2 of 2 success in 10 days from former men's Division I college basketball coach John Kress. He was a longtime head coach for the College of Charleston. They won an NAIA championship during the start of his tenure. He oversaw the team as they moved on to Division I, and the program would be known as Giant Killers during his time there, because they were taking down a bunch of the great teams of the time. North Carolina is one that come to mind. I know they had a list, but I didn't research all that. But very, very highly respected and one of the best college basketball coaches that there's been. He was inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame in 2018. Moving on, we got some pro football returns. First couple are for my College Football Hall of Fame collection that I'm trying to work on, but I'll talk about their NFL careers as well. First one is a 2 of 2 in 11 days from former NFL linebacker Brian Kelly. He is not the coach of LSU, different Brian Kelly. But he played his entire NFL career with the New York Giants. He was part of the Crunch Bunch with Brad Van Pelt, Lawrence Taylor, and Harry Carson. And he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2010. He wasn't so much the pass rush guy as he was the coverage linebacker, because he got quite a few interceptions during his career. Then we have a 2 of 2 success in 9 days from former NFL defensive back and return specialist Tommy Casanova. He is over here on the left, number 37. Signed both of these. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler and was a 1-time first-team All-Pro in the NFL. He is an LSU legend, all-time SEC, or all SEC, I think 3 or 4 years in a row. And his number 37 has been retired by the team. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1995. Then we have a current NFL coach. I still consider coordinators coaches. This is a 2 of 2 success in 10 days from Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Actually, quite surprised how quickly this was returned, considering how well they're doing. But he has helped the Eagles remain undefeated so far this season, with his defense forcing 16 turnovers and having 23 sacks in just 7 games so far. He was brought over from Indianapolis when Nick Sirianni took over the team. And I feel like that's part of the reason why the Colts have struggled as of recent, not just with continually picking at the scab with the quarterbacks and everything, but a lot of their really good coordinators and some of their assistant coaches have moved on to take on head coaching jobs and now coordinator jobs, and I don't think they've really done that great of a job replacing those guys. They had a really solid group there on the coaching staff, and I'm not sure how much longer Frank Reich is going to be the head coach, but I don't feel confident with the moves that he's made for his coaching staff. Then we'll move on to some college football coaching legends. First one is a guy who only coached for 1 season in college football. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame as a quarterback, but this is a 2 of 2 success in 11 days from Bill Riddell. Signed there in pen, a little hard to see. He was also a CFL quarterback for a number of years after graduating from Occidental, I think is what it's called. He won a Grey Cup championship. I don't know if he was a starter. I believe he was an all-star in the league as well. He came back to coach his alma mater for 1 season. They went 2-7, and then he was done with coaching. But I saw that he was a Hall of Famer, and a couple other guys found an address for him, so figured I'd send it out in 11 days. Got him back. Then we've got a current FCS head coach. This is a 2 of 2 success in 66 days, coming from Morgan State head coach Damon Wilson. He was formerly the head coach of Bowie State, but he left there and now holds a 92-50 record so far in his career. He's won, I think, 2 Black College National Championships, and I would love to be able to keep track of that, but there are so many different groups that vote on it that they have like between like 2 to 5 champions a year. So I don't know which one to consider as like the, top whatever poll or group to name is like, this is the black college national champion, particularly for HBCU programs and everything. It's really, really confusing. It's kind of like how the FBS championship used to be decided by a poll and multiple polls, so there would be multiple national champions a year. For me, I just focus on AP national championships. I don't care about any of the other ones, but it's very confusing. So I would keep track of that and let you guys know like exactly who won which ones, but it's very, very confusing. Speaking of a guy who has won many of these Black College National Championships, this is a 2 of 2 success in 10 days from former head coach Joe Taylor. So he signed these photos on the back, but he finished his career with a 233, 96, and 4 record. I think he coached at 4 different colleges. Hampton comes to mind. He ended his career with Florida A&M. I think there was 2 more colleges he coached at. He is now the athletic director for Virginia Union, and he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2019. But legendary coach there. Then we have a 2 of 2 success in 9 days from former Bethany College football head coach Ted Kessinger, signed as Coach K. He did include notes on the back, but he finished his career with a 219, 57, and 1 coaching record. Also included a note there. And he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach in 2010. Last one here is also a College Football Hall of Fame coach. Got this back, 2 of 2 in 11 days from former Tennessee and Florida head coach Doug Dickey. So he won 2 bowl games with Tennessee, and he was their athletic director from 1985 to 2002. So I think he oversaw 1 national championship as an athletic director. His coaching resume isn't as big as a lot of the other Hall of Famers, so I think part of the reason that helped him get inducted, because he was off to a really good pace, he just didn't coach for very long, was the fact that he was an athletic director and helped Tennessee maintain being a powerhouse in college football for some time, recruiting guys like Peyton Manning, of course. But he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2003. So a bunch of awesome additions to the collection. Hopefully it gives you guys some ideas on who to send to, or maybe just brings back some memories of players and coaches and teams that you've watched in the past. But that is it for today. My voice is running out. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Helps me out a lot. Best luck with your guys' collecting. Take care.